Is Weller Foolproof the best bourbon on the market? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new episode of Sample Battles. Today on the chopping block, we have another sample sent to us by Kurt from SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. He sent us a tiny sample of a Weller Foolproof. Now this sits at that 114 proof, and I'm putting it up against the Weller Antique 107, which is 107 proof, the Old Elk Double Wheat, which is also at 107 proof, and then one of my absolute favorites, the Wilderness Trail Wheated Mash Bill, sitting at 100 proof, bottled in bond. We have everything poured out. We have everything ready to go. So let's get to spinning. All right, so let's place these out. And one more for good measure. All right, so as you guys most likely know, these are all wheated bourbons. The double wheat is a wheated whiskey, but it is super, super close to being considered a bourbon. But without further ado, you guys know the deal. Let's go left to right and then right to left. There's a Coke note on that. A little like mint almost as well, which is strange. Finding a little bit of like an apricot, maybe a little dust. There's a grassy note. A little bit of orange. Lots of orange, actually. It's coming out through now. Cherry. Smells really, really nice. Let's get into the palate. There's a warm vanilla. There's a maple syrup aspect going on, but the orange takes over. And there's a lot of cherry. There's like an orange cherry creamsicle almost in there that's really, really pleasant. And then I get this like maple syrup aspect at the end. And then the finish on the tail end, there's this like dark dried raisin. But let's move on to glass number 2. Completely different. This one's so much darker on the nose. Finding like a sweet like caramel, like a very light caramel, almost like a milk chocolate in there as well. And there's that earthiness in there too. I'm not really getting like the orange citrus, but I'm getting that cherry, a little bit of plum aspect in there a little bit. Smells very nice. Let's get into the palate. This one's very earthy on the palate. I didn't get lemon on the nose, but on the palate, I'm getting that touch of like a lemon peel. There's a touch of that espresso, a little bit of like a dark, dried, dark chocolate. There's a little peanutness going on, a touch of cherry on the mid palate, finishing off with the cherry as well on the finish. Very, very interesting. I think I might like this one a little bit better than the first one. But let's move on to glass number 3. Very, 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 very hay bale, a little bit of graham cracker, musty. Smells fantastic, honestly, but not as good as the first two. I like the first 2 noses better than this one. But all 3 of these so far have been very, very pleasant on the nose. I'm getting a little bit more orange on this guy as well, but let's get into the palate. Light, very light. No burn at all. On the palate, I get a little touch of leather, a little touch of tobacco. Going into the mid palate, it washes out, and in the finish, there's a light lemon with a little touch of like a vanilla maple. That peach is there, but it's so light. It's so light. Definitely these 2 are in the front run so far, but let's move on to glass number 4. Wow, glass number 4 has a beautiful nose. Probably the best nose out of the 4. There's a sweet maple syrup, strawberries, cherry. Wow, this nose is really nice. Vanilla. Wow, this is the best nose out of the 4 so far. Oh, 100%. 100% best nose. But let's get into the palate. Wow. That's a cherry bomb. There's a lot of cherry. There's a touch of like a strawberry as well that you got on the nose into the palate. Then there's this burnt brown sugar going on as well. There's a little earthiness going on. Really, really sweet. Really, really like coats the tongue, dries the tongue out. Really, really tannin. That is really, really good. That might be the number 1 so far. You guys know the deal. I'm going to go clean the palate and go work from right to left. So I'll be right back. All right, so we are back. Before we start this next round, guys, I truly, truly appreciate the love and support that you guys are bringing to the channel. By the time of this video going out, we might already be at 1,000 subscribers, but if we are not, make sure you leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below which out of these 4 is your absolute favorite. But without further ado, let's get into drinking. All right, glass all to the right, glass number 4. Let's get in the nose really quick. Nothing's really changed. There's a touch of like a peanut going on in there now too. Still getting a little bit of an orange. A cherry strawberry is there too. There's a little earthiness. There's a touch of like a leather tobacco espresso bean, but then that fades off. Orange, strawberry, cherry, touch of like a mapleness. Really, really good. Dries the tongue out still. Super, super tannin. But I think that one might be in the front right now. Let's move on to glass number 3. Yeah, nose is super, super musty on this one. Super musty. Like dried grape, or not dried grapes, but like over-ripened grapes. Like super soft grapes, but like where like they're sweating. That's what I'm getting on that. Touch of like a graham cracker, but let's get into the palate. Wow. That grew on me from the first sip. Wow. There's a cherryness. There's a light tobacco, which is really, really nice. A touch of that leather. That espresso bean comes forward. And then I'm getting a touch of like a burnt cinnamon. Followed by on the finish, a cherry orange like palate combination that's really, really nice. But let's move on to the second glass. There's a lot of marshmallow on that. Almost like a French vanilla coffee. There's a sweet aspect to it. That's like a confectioner sugar, vanilla cake, something like that. Smells so, so good. Let's get into the palate. Yeah, that is, wow. That is good. There's a lot going on in that. There's that birthday cake coming in, a little bit of graham cracker, a touch of like a lemon. It's almost like one of those tasty cake lemon pies where you get that crust and that sweet lemon filling, sweet lemon custard filling, whatever it is. Really, really, really good. That one is in front right now. That is definitely number 1. But let's move on to glass number 1 and see if anything has changed. So much graham cracker. That is a graham cracker bomb. That opened up to something really, really good. Like you're about to make a s'mores. That is what I'm selling on that. A little bit of like a cherry note. I'm getting a little bit of like a milk chocolate, almost with some peanuts in there. Maybe like a Hershey's bar with the peanut Hershey bar. Really, really nice. Let's get into the palate. The palate is not as pleasant as the nose. The nose is number 1 by far. But the palate does not compete with the nose. So I think that this one here is 1. All right. We got our lineup. Let's see what came in 4th place. 4th place goes to D, which is the Wilderness Trail. 3rd place goes to B, which is the Weller Antique 107. 2nd place goes to Old Elk, which means Weller Foolproof came in 1st place. Am I surprised? Not so much. I honestly thought that with this blind that the Antique 107 was going to come in 2nd place, but I have so much love for this Old Elk double wheat that I'm honestly not surprised that it came in 2nd place. This was super, super fun. Absolutely love doing these blinds, but the Weller Foolproof is moving on to the finals. Until next time, guys, it's been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.